What's going on, guys? It's the commish here, James Logan. Wow, what a week. Had an undefeated go down. We followed up the lowest scoring week in the league with the highest scoring week in the league. I think the average was 122. 5 people did cross the 130 mark, and every one of those people won except for John, which that's just a shame. That's the most by a losing team this year, and that was 142 points. That's just tough. 2 teams did fail to score at least 90, and that was Curtis and Ryan. It's tough again. To see anybody scoring under 90, you don't want to see that. This is PPR, although it is half, it's PPR. The average victory this week was 32. I think the smallest was like 12, so some pretty big victories out there. With that being said, we're going to go ahead and get right into these rankings, guys, starting with number 10. Alright, guys, at number 10, I've got Ryan. Tough. He's 1-4. His playoff hopes are quickly fading away, like the warmth up in Michigan right now. Seriously, though, that snow is going to be tough. Enjoy the winters. Send me a picture with the snowman. But anyway, averaging a 91 points, Ryan, that's just not going to do it. You scored under 100 for the 4th time this year out of 5. You're sitting at 1-4, 9th in quarterbacks points, 10th in running back points, 3rd in flex points, which is, that's a good bright side there. 10th in defense, though, 9th in kicker. That's more bad than good. The game of the week, actually, this week is going to be between our 2 1-4 teams, which is Ryan versus John. Looked at your team here, Ryan, because it said you projected like 89 this week. You did have some guys on bye, so I'll give you that. But you are going to look like you're going to have to play the waiver wire, get a quarterback. I saw both your quarterbacks on bye. But anyway, a loss here at 1-5 is not where you want to be. Probably not going to make the playoffs unless you make a run. But yeah, that's a 10, Ryan. Coming in at number 9, I've got Dalton. He is 2-3. You're kind of lucky you drew Ryan this week. That's one of the 2 guys in the league you could have beaten. But hey, that's all you got to do is beat who you play. You're currently 2-3, which could be much worse. You're 9th in the league in scoring, 102.6, but you're above 100, which I like to see. 9th in running back points, 8th in tight end points, 9th in flex, 8th in defense, 8th in kicker. Not really topping anything. You had a big game against the commish, aka Wicked Jimmy 11, Apex Highlights. Tough game this week. Just kidding, it's going to be easy. Actually, I don't know. I do have myself slightly above you in the rankings, but rest assured, there's no telling what I'm going to get. Like I said, could get 80, could get 180. But anyway, the winner moves to 500. You're in a better spot if you're 3-3 and not 2-4 for that playoff spot. But yeah, Dalton, I got you at 9. Coming in at 8, I've got myself, for doing the work of the people and knocking off number 1, Purple Rain. That's what I'm talking about. Big time performance from the guys. Except Greg Olson, you gave me 0. You're worthless. Anyway, I'll take the production I got from everybody else, which was plenty to beat Marissa. I knocked her off by 40, I think. She barely scratched 100. She may or may not be number 1 this week. You'll find out in a little bit. She's currently 8th in scoring. Or, sorry, not she. I'm 8th in scoring. I'm all over the place, both in this video right now and just in scoring. With my totals, I don't know what to expect going forward. But 140 this week was encouraging to see. 10th in quarterbacks points, 8th in running back points, 10th in tight end points, 10th in flex, 1st in defense. Shout out Patriots. Even though you don't play defense, Tom. 42-year-old ass. Anyway, big game, as I just stated, against French Toast Mafia. Still love that name. Playoff spot is on the line, like I said. 2-4 is not ideal. 3-3, a little more ideal. But anyway, I've got myself at 8. Alright, at number 7, you might have noticed, you haven't heard John. He is the other guy who's 1-4, but here we go. I got John at 7. I do have him above me and Dalton. I think he's got a better team right now than us, but this is only week 5. Still got some time to sort things out. But John's record's only one factor here, although it's not ideal at 1-4. He could easily be 3-2. I did see he lost with, well, like I said, he lost with the 142 this week. He also lost with 123, which is, I mean, that's enough to beat most teams any given week. But this week he does put up the 142 against Dan and loses, which would have beaten everybody except for Josh and Dan. So 6th in the league in scoring, though, is John with an average of 115, which is exactly what our league average is. He's 8th in quarterback points, 8th in wide receiver points, 4th in running back points, 2nd in tight end points. But he is no longer last in defense, thanks to an absurd 35 from his beloved Eagles. As I said earlier, huge battle between the 1-4 teams, Ryan versus John. Very interested to see how this one goes. But good luck, John. Number 7. At number 6, I've got Kurtman, aka I swear I didn't Buckner. He sits at 2-3 with 3 others. By the way, the name, if you see the picture, that's Bill Clinton. A little joke there, as well as he did mention DeForest Buckner does play for the 49ers, so a little bit of a pun there with the 49ers being his team. But anyway, Curtis sits at 2-3 with the 3 others in the league at 2-3. He's 7th in the league in scoring, 111. That's 5 points higher, or was 5 points higher last week, but then he put up 89, and now it's at 111. But anyway, he still has the most points scored against. He's got 624. That's about 125 a game against him. That's tough. He's still hanging in there, though, and hopefully we'll get Saquon back. If not this Thursday, he definitely probably will be back next week, it seems. But Curtis does have a tough matchup versus Josh this week. Could pull a James Logan and knock off the last remaining undefeated that we got in the league. It would further put you up there in the rankings, and it would get you a better spot, or a better chance to get a playoff spot. But yeah, Curtis at number 6. Coming in at number 5, I've got Danimals, my man Dan, winner of what I would probably call the game of the week as far as points go, because it was a high-scoring affair. He did lead the league in points this week with 154.8, outside of an 83-point dud last week. He's done pretty good this year, I would say. I had him at 9 last week, which was probably a little lower than he should have been, but I mean, his record is at 2-3. I will say this is a sneaky good team to watch out for down the line. The Giants, on the other hand, not so much. But Dan is currently 5th in scoring average at 119.6. He's 2nd in quarterback points, 2nd in wide receiver points, 1st in tight end points. Those are, top 3 right there for pretty big positions. And then 9th in defense points, though, not really playing the streams well. But I will say you're getting positive results out of your defenses, no like really crappy like 2 negative anything. So that's nice to see at least. But yeah, you got a tough matchup this week against Diggs in a blanket. I don't know how much longer that name's gonna last. He's been tossed around in trade rumors in real life and in our fantasy league actually. But another win here would put him in a better spot. Dan at 3-3 for the playoffs. So yeah, Dan 5. All right, at number 4, I've got Sir William. Sits at 3-2. It's good to be on this side of 500, through 5 games. Big win this week against Curtis. I don't think it was ever close. Pretty sure at one point Christian McCaffrey had more than Curtis's whole team, but that's not really anything you can do about that. Christian McCaffrey's a beast. That's why William took him. So whatever. Anyway, 3rd in the league in scoring. William with another solid total of 132. But like I said, 84 of that came from Deshaun and McCaffrey, which was 5 less than Curtis's whole team. Sorry, Curtis. Rest of the team didn't look so hot, though, William. But, I mean, if you can get 80 or more from 2 players, I mean, who needs the rest of your team? Averaging 125 through 5 weeks. That's not a bad mark. Now have wins of 88, 36, and 43. Those are very convincing victories. I'll give you that. 1st in running back points, 9th in wide receiver points, 9th in tight end points, 2nd in flex, 2nd in kicker. You got a big game against Dan this week. It's battle 4 and 5 in the rankings. Winner's more than likely going to move to, I would say, 3. Loser has to drive to lunch the rest of the year. Book it. I said it. So yeah, I got William at 4. Coming in number 3 is Scott, Team G-Speed. Tough loss in what was our actual game of the week to Josh, but overall I would say that was a very boring performance by the G-Speeders. I'm not sure if that's what they'd be called, but nobody scored higher than 18.8. I want to say it was Carson, or maybe your other running back. Points trending downward since week 1, though, Scott. You had 155 in your first outing, and then I think you had like 130 and then 120. We're going down is the point. It's not good to see there. Second in scoring average still, which, that still means you're scoring enough points to win. 127 points per game. First in wide receiver. Third in quarterback and running back. First in kicker. Big matchup this week against Purple Rain. These two have been top 3 in the rankings, I'm pretty sure every week. This is a big game here to show who really belongs in the top 3, and loser's probably going to be 10. Sorry. Anyway, Scott, 3. At number 2, she tried to make her case for number 1. I'll give her that, but you didn't pay the $30. You know that's going to cost you a spot. Here we are at 2. I mean, Marissa, you were number 1. I was number 10. You lost by 40. Josh is undefeated. How am I not supposed to put you at 2 here? I'm an honest man, as are all Patriot fans, for sure. Dropped to 4th in quarterback points after a dud from Lamar. I did call that. I will say I called that Lamar dud. 2nd in running back points. 3rd in tight end points. 8th in flex points, surprisingly, to see that low in flex. Just means you need to round out your roster a little more, but you're still number 2 for a reason. You lead the league in scoring at 128 points per game. Very close to your first sub 100 game, I will say that. I think the average is a little inflated, though. You do lead the league, but it's a little inflated with that 182-week performance. I mean, you've scored 106, 109, and 100 in 3 of your 5 games, and you won 2 of those somehow. So, I mean, you're 4-1, I'll give you it, but just saying. Big matchup against number 3, Team G-Speed, like I said. Both these teams in contention for that regular season championship, that $50. So, yeah, definitely going to be a good game, I hope. But, yeah, Marissa, number 2. All right, you know what that means. Mr. 5-0, Josh, not in the face. I mean, record-wise, you couldn't ask for a better start. Like, actually impossible to ask for a better start. I did the math. 5-0 is the best you could be through 5 games, so good for you. Top 6 make the playoffs, and I'm not really sure about the math on this, but I'd give you a pretty solid chance right now to make the playoffs at least above 50%, maybe like 51%. But yeah, that's really what you want to do here, make the playoffs, and you're also in good shape to get that $50. Like I said, $50 regular season champ, money back there. You still got a long way to go, though. You're coming off a nice victory against Scott in the game of the week. You won by just about how much Aaron Jones scored, which was 45 points. That's pretty impressive. I think we had like 2 or 3 guys score 40 points this week with McCaffrey, Jones, and maybe somebody else. Currently first in quarterback points. Been top 3 all year. 2nd in defense points. You've been 2nd all year. Well, I think you've been streaming all your defenses. I'm not 100% on that, but I think you've been streaming them, so that's not bad if you're 2nd in streaming, because I've just been playing the Patriots, and it's been working out because they're playing, the ACC schedule. But I got, sorry, that was off on a tangent. You got I Didn't Buckner coming to town, or I Swear I Didn't Buckner? I forget what it was. Yeah, I Swear I Didn't Buckner. Chance to move to 6-0 or take your first L. You haven't taken an L in a while, probably since you got told you had to sit with me and John at work. So that's a pretty big one. But anyway, I've got Josh at number 1. Congrats, man.